This is 5 on your side at 10.
All right, it is what everyone is talking about tonight, from Hazelwood to Sunset Hills and Oakville. An earthquake that hit around 5:30 tonight. Many of you telling us it shook your homes and sounded like an explosion. Now, as soon as that earthquake hit, we here at 5 on your side got a lot of calls and messages, and we found out that it was a 2.8 magnitude earthquake. So it wasn't really impressive by numbers alone, but it did pack a punch because it was a shallow quake. We've also learned tonight the epicenter was near I-44 and Highway 141. So far, no reports of damage this evening. Now, we do have team coverage tonight on this story. Meteorologist Jim Castillo has details about what happened and exactly where this earthquake hit. But first, let's start with our Brent Solomon, who talked to people who felt it. Brent.
That's right, Michelle. People tell me they could hear and feel it. Experts say a 2.8 earthquake is too small to cause any damage. It would need to be about 100 times bigger to do that. Still, it left a lot of people wondering what was going on. Right after we got word, we headed to the epicenter of the quake here in St. Louis County, about a mile southwest of I-44 and Highway 141 in Valley Park. It was 5:30 p.m. when it happened. Again, this was a 2.8 magnitude quake. Experts say it would need to be about a magnitude 5 in order to cause some significant damage. Still, people in our area started calling 911, and that prompted county officials to send out a request not to do that. They say that should be reserved for reporting injuries or damage, which there are no reports of. People who heard it are stunned that even a small quake could be so startling.
It was out of nowhere. I was on the phone and my mom was sitting next to me and she's like, "What was that?"
It felt like it was right under me. I was on my porch and I just thought it was the garage door closing.
This one was a little bit unusual because it was right underneath the metro area. More often the earthquakes will be, somewhere where people aren't living just by random chance. But this one just happened to be under, just south of Valley Park, so we all felt it.
And the last person you heard from is seismologist Douglas Weens from WashU. He tells me he believes this is likely a one-and-done event. He doesn't expect any residual effects or bigger quake to strike as a result. Although we're on watch for the possibility of severe weather this weekend, Dr. Weens says there really is no tie to weather forecast and earthquakes. That's because he says there is no way to predict when a quake will happen. Michelle.
All right, thanks so much, Brent. Of course, now let's get over to Jim with what we have learned tonight. And Jim, you have covered lots of earthquakes in your time, not so much in Missouri though, right?
Well, I grew up here,
Yeah,
and I do remember a 5.0 when I was a little kid. I actually heard it before I felt the shaking, and that was my first quake right here in St. Louis and in North County. But then I moved to Seattle and LA and then really got used to quakes. So this one's shallow, and they are shocking because even when they're small, they really can rattle the ground, and then you hear that big boom. Some of you heard a boom, or even the rattling of that bedrock that actually moves. So you think about the ground moving, and look at this. Whenever you see this, the blue dots on here, over 3,382 responses, meaning that's how many people actually felt it. And all the way from St. Charles to Lee May and into Oakville and Wildwood, all the way down to Festus and all the way over to Washington, a couple dots there. And then even Southern Illinois, seeing a few of those dots, and that just means people felt it or even heard and felt it. So the depth of this was about 4.3 miles, which is considered very shallow. And again, we're in that bedrock here in Missouri, which is just a lot of that can move and it can go for a very long time. And again, it lasted just for a few seconds, but quite impressive. Michelle?
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of people talking about it tonight, Jim. Yeah. And of course, we do want to hear from you. Oh my gosh, look at this. Did you feel the earthquake? Right now, it is almost split, but most of you say no at just 56%. But we would love to hear from you. You can vote on the 5 on Your Side app or at ksdk.com/vote. And of course, this is a very good reminder that in these breaking news situations, you can get alerts sent straight to your phone. All you have to do is download the 5 on Your Side app for free.
We believe that the shooting was in fact justified.
Well, no charges tonight against 2 officers who shot and killed a 17-year-old in O'Fallon, Missouri. Tonight, 5 on Your Side's Robert Townsend shows us the police body cam video that helped prosecutors come to their final decision.
This is a big deal. This is something that everybody takes seriously.
The shooting happened on January 23rd. Prosecutor Tim Lomar says 2 O'Fallon police officers went to Prentice Drive in St. Charles County to check out a suspicious parked vehicle that partially blocked a homeowner's driveway.
It was eventually determined that the vehicle was, in fact, reported stolen 4 days prior by the Kirkwood Police Department.
The St. Charles County Police Department released this body cam video from that day. Lomar says the first officer approached the driver's side of the white sedan and saw the young driver sleeping.
His seat was reclined. He sits up in the seat. He makes eye contact with the officer. This is the point at which things turned deadly.
Investigators say the officer busted out the driver's side window with his gun.
The officer indicated that he observed inside the vehicle a hand holding a gun.
The officer claimed he couldn't see who was holding the gun.
At that moment, the vehicle lurches into reverse and it strikes a patrol car which was positioned 4 or 5 feet behind the suspect vehicle.
At that time, officers fired, killing the teenager.
They have a split second to make a determination. They believed that had they not discharged their weapons and used force against this individual, that their lives or others' lives within the immediate vicinity would be in danger.
Lomar says the body cam video was crucial in his decision to not charge the officers.
You never want to victim blame, but in a situation like this, the deceased young man could have made 1, maybe 2 decisions differently, and we wouldn't even be here.
We've learned the officer who fired the fatal shot has been on the O'Fallon Police Department for more than 15 years. His partner has been on the force for 11 years. Police arrested Christopher Jones' 17-year-old friend. They say he was a passenger in the stolen car and was not hurt. Robert Townsend, 5 Your Side.
Tonight, a Granite City man is behind bars after police say he killed a deputy in north central Illinois. Police say they responded to a gas station in Knox County for a report of a man with a gun. Officers tried to pull over the suspect, Dalen Richardson, but say he wouldn't stop. A deputy setting up spike strips was hit by the suspect's car and died. After a chase, Richardson was arrested.
Sheriff, on behalf of Director Kelly, we extend our heartfelt prayers, support, and love to the Knox County deputy's family, his friends, and the Knox County Sheriff's Office.
And the name of the deputy who died has not been released at this time. Tonight, we are learning some sad news from last week's serious crash involving a person arrested for carjacking. Tonight, 5 on Your Side has learned a 2-year-old boy has died from his injuries. St. Louis County Police say his name was Jace Richardson. His mom is still in critical condition from that April 22nd crash. In the meantime, police say Leon Russell, this man you see right here, was driving that stolen car. When officers tried to pull him over, he took off, eventually crashing into the mother's car. Russell is now charged with second-degree murder, assault, and other charges. Tonight, a man accused of pushing his wife off of a parking garage is charged once again. Police say Bradley Jenkins pushed his wife, Alyssa Martin, off the garage roof after a Cardinals game in 2019. Well, now we know new details from police reveal that her cell phone recorded an argument, assault, and even her screams as she fell. Charges had previously been dropped because of lack of evidence. A grand jury indicted Jenkins on a domestic assault charge 10 days ago, and today he pleaded not guilty. He is scheduled to be back in court a week from today. 10:08 now, let's take a live look at the St. Louis Arch. In 2 nights from now, the lights are going to go off in order to help migrating birds. This is part of the Audubon Society's programs called Lights Out. Bright lights from monuments or buildings can really confuse birds flying at night, and many of the birds use the Mississippi River during their spring and fall migration. All right, well, it was a party in downtown St. Louis tonight for the City Social Festival. There was live music, art, food, and drinks along Washington Avenue. It is all a big celebration of St. Louis culture.
Bring some positivity, I would say, and just bring some more awareness.
This is just amazing. If you look around, you see so many people. The bands are great. It's a great time.
Well, this was the first City Social Street Festival. It's also an effort to attract tourism and make downtown a better place overall.
And just putting together the weather maps here, we've got lots of severe weather and tornadic activity in Kansas. A little more on that and let you know if any of that's headed our way for tomorrow.